Are we live and silent? Or
we're live right now.
Oh.
We just went live.
I was wondering if it was one of those like, is this a video situations?
Yeah, right. Where we're like sort of like the Snoop Dogg thing, where he's like streaming for hours and
That was like
days
weeks or
with
something.
his mic off.
That's one of my favorite stories. Is that because the chat was like trying to tell him that he had his mic on mute, but like he disabled everything but emojis or something.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to send emojis to tell him that his mic was on mute.
I've never heard this.
Oh,
What happened?
This is so great. Tell the whole story, Jake.
So Snoop Dogg, he's I don't know if he still streams, but I know he was streaming like Madden for a while on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
And then one day he muted his mic for a second, forgot to unmute his mic, and then left his mic muted for weeks and was playing
like every
Madden.
stream.
Yeah.
And he's like talking, he's getting animated
Yeah.
and like at the chat and everything.
And so he's playing Madden with his mic completely muted, and nobody can tell him in the chat. that his
Why
mic
would
is muted.
he? Why would he disable everything except emojis?
Because
That's
people,
like a setting you can do.
yeah, it's like
I
it's
know,
like
but
a-
why?
So people on Twitch love to spam emojis, but I guess maybe he doesn't want. He's so big, maybe people will like spam awful things in his chat or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. yeah.
I think there's reasons to not do it, but yeah. And then so finally he figured out that his mic was muted, and then he just like unmuted himself, and then was like, "You guys didn't tell me my mic was muted." And then that
People
was
were trying to, but they can only send emojis.
For-
Yeah.
For like a week.
For
That's so
multiple
funny.
streams,
Yeah.
hours of trying to tell Snoop.
That's so funny.
like I would never ever watch Snoop Dogg play Madden, but would I watch Snoop Dogg play Madden while he doesn't know he's muted? That's hilarious.
That's very funny. That's really funny.
Well, coming soon to Patreon, we are going to cut the cord on Jake's mic, and so you'll get to enjoy that. He'll think that
You can only hear him from what he picks up
It's
throughout
kind of
the
an expensive prank.
Is he also just streaming Madden?
Yeah,
No,
I
he's
mean, it's
doing
just
the
the
pod.
cable. We're not ruining the
Okay.
mic.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the cable's not like cheap, is it?
A couple bucks.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's $5 wasted on the prank.
We'll just deduct it from your zero pay.
Good luck getting any money out of me ever.
You've already given Scott all of your banking information.
I don't even know that I know what to give it to. But no, I think Scott helped me set up my 401k.
Yeah,
I don't know if I gave him the passwords, but I might have.
he's gonna subtract the $4 for the cable. From
They've
the
since
401k.
changed.
I set it up to automatically withdraw to my 401k.
Nice. Oh man, well, what do you guys say we get into another hot ep for these tots? Oh, this is
It's
the
the
beginning.
first Spooktober.
This is Spooktober.
Is there anything special we're doing?
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
scary
not
movies.
Fast and Furious. That's pretty special this year.
You guys
Well-
didn't get that I changed my movie to.
What if we were just like, no, we're doing normal movies in Spooktober?
That'd be pretty funny.
That's the
That's
big change.
yeah,
It's very kooky.
I got Creed 2 lined up.
We are going to do a giveaway, but I think maybe we can plug that in the episode, unless we want to plug it now.
We
as
can plug
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah.
it now.
My sisters made
You
us
show it to the
this-
camera.
I don't know if I can't really see what the camera sees.
They
so
can see. I'm
okay.
sure they can.
Made us this Spooktober cup to give away. We're going to be doing it on Instagram if you guys want to look there for details. And then at the end of the month, we'll give away this nice little Rotten Potatoes Spooktober 2023 glass.
How do they win it? What do they have to do?
I'll be honest with you. Molly has some scheme, and my mom tried to explain to me what it was because Molly was busy and I wasn't understanding what my mom said. So Molly's going to post the
So
details.
it's complicated.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's not-
just
it's
over
not-
Jake's head. Is all it is.
It's not complicated at all.
If it's over Jake's head, I think it's over.
They have to
mine.
DM us.
No. It's over my mom said. Basically, what I think is going to happen is people are going to have to comment on the posts and like share a post, share our posts, and then we'll select a winner. using
Comment,
some
share,
software.
tag 2 friends.
Okay.
Stuff
Tattoo your friends.
Tag
Tag
2
2
friends.
friends.
Oh, I thought you said tattoo your friends.
I'm going to say
I'm
this
like,
right.
man, you know what? I'll say that right now. I will pay to get as many of those cups made as you get Rotten Potato tattoos.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to say this right here, right now. If you do get a Rotten Potato tattoo,
It's an automatic win.
yeah, unless there are 2 Rotten Potato tattoos,
We'll
Then I
make
guess we need
another
to make
one and they
another
can both
mug.
have it.
yeah, I'll have to commission Molly and
Well,
Kimberly
yeah,
to do that.
we'll make a special one
For
next
every
month.
I dare say, for every rotten potato tattoo you get, we'll give you something.
And, yeah, every single tot except JP can win.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
That's fair.
that's fair.
Sorry,
He'll
you know
never
what?
hear this. He's not a
Yeah.
patron.
I was thinking about
He doesn't listen to
JP this
everyone.
morning because he posted a picture of him with his rats on his shoulder today, and I was like, that's not normal.
No, it's not.
All right, let's jump into the real things.
Spooktober.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rotten Potatoes, a podcast where four friends sit down and review movies you absolutely should have seen already, but at least one of us hasn't. My name is Scott, and I'm here with three of my best friends in the whole wide world.
My name is Jake.
My name is Zach.
I'm Tyler, and Scott, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Does that hold the record for the longest intro that we've ever done?
No, not even close.
Hey, it's got to be Independence Day still.
It might be Independence Day.
Independence Day was like a minute and a half.
This was still sub a minute. It was only like 45 seconds.
Wow.
It just felt long.
It felt really long.
It might be because of all of the Christopher Walken grunts.
I think it was a lot of Christopher Walken grunts.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
bring up. Is I love that probably the person with the most screen time in that audio in the movie for the audio clip we played is Christopher Walken. And if you hadn't seen this movie, you'd never know.
That's true.
Because they got
From
this
that
really,
audio, yeah.
this really good, important,
Orator. Yeah.
yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
A great orator, and he had 0 lines.
yeah.
Except for,
That's true.
I'll tell you what, that slightly tangential, but there's a Christopher Walken movie pretty big called The Prophecy. There was a whole series of them, but The Prophecy, when I was a little kid, it was the scariest movie in the world, and Christopher Walken did that same like shushing motion in The Prophecy. And it kind of triggered like a childhood trauma for me. Like watching this movie again, seeing him doing that, it kind of freaked me out.
I feel like if Christopher Walken wanted to, he could very easily be a very scary man.
Oh yeah,
And I don't know why. Like I feel like he's probably a nice dude.
I would guess so, but I mean, he could also have dead birds in his closet, and that would make sense to me too.
But if he looked me in the eyes and shushed me like that, I think it would chill me to the bone.
as you may have noticed, we're into Spooktober.
The Oct is been out. It's still out. It was never in.
Didn't we establish last episode that the Oct isn't always out?
No, see, Creed was
'cause-
our over second.
Yeah, that's
Movie.
right.
Oh, it's over second?
It's
Yeah.
over second,
I
and now
thought-
we're in
yeah.
Spooktober.
Okay.
So it was over. Over 2 that it comes out, right?
Yeah.
I see. You just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Catching
over
up a
second.
little bit.
Well,
I was
it's just
trying
like
to
our
look up-
special episode every year is over and whatever day it is, I guess.
But we don't usually have other.
3 of our 4 seasons, we've had a 5th episode in
How do we
October.
really? How
Yeah.
does that always happen?
I don't know.
And we never discussed
Last year-
the over.
No, well, last year we talked about Jake maybe getting 2 Spooktober nominations. He had like one early and then one later.
Yeah, like I was the
Oh.
first and the last.
Right.
I
But
have no memory of that.
I'm glad we didn't do it.
I'm glad you didn't either.
I have, yeah.
yeah.
I think
You have a great track record of picks. Spooktober.
Hey, Zach, I think that you are big into my Spooktober pick this year.
Well, I'm saying historically.
Yeah.
What did I pick last year?
Uh,
Psycho? Didn't I pick Psycho last year?
Maybe I didn't.
Psycho's a
like
great
it.
movie.
I didn't like it,
Wow.
and I didn't like the Frankenstein one you did.
Young Frank. I'm listening to.
No, you had It last year.
Oh yeah, Good movie.
That was
It-
fine. It's
it-
okay.
Psycho.
Psycho's an all-time great. And you know what? If to most people, so is Young Frankenstein.
Not to us though.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to us.
I'm doing I read a spooky book, or I listen to a spooky book. I don't remember last time I actually read a book. In October, and I might get through 2 this year because it's currently over first. It's over first.
over one, right?
And
now,
I'm
yeah.
almost done with Frankenstein. So
Wow.
great book.
Is
I
it?
really like it.
I also read spooky books.
I think the next one I have is The Shining, and that might be hard to get through quickly.
Oh no, I blazed through The Shining.
Isn't it really long though?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's long. It's short for Stephen King.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. It's short for Stephen King. I'm reading Pet Cemetery right now, and I like it.
Okay.
I think
Isn't that a movie going to be coming out for Pet Sematary?
I think they have like a sequel coming out.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got through The Shining in we had I had a week off, and I read through it that week.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably taken me only a week through Frankenstein, but it's only a 10-hour audiobook. So
Oh yeah, I think this is probably closer to 20 hours. It's not.
yeah, I do when I drive. So
Yeah.
I don't physically read or listen to anything spooky on purpose.
Or
But
anything
you also
at all.
or anything at all.
I listen to books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, have you
Like
been?
what?
A
Not
lot more
novels.
yeah, it's still like nonfiction, like either like theology type or like
Okay.
self-help or like different things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I struggle to get into story.
And you're a pretty avid podcaster. I feel like every time I walk by your truck, that you're just
I'm, like,
getting in or
finishing
out
an
of, you're
episode,
finishing
yeah.
an episode
Yeah.
of something.
that was when
Wow.
I got here a little bit early today, and I sat in my car for about 2 or 3 minutes to finish my chapter of Frankenstein.
What's been a podcast you've been really into recently?
I mean, something I listen to almost every weekday is The Daily. It's just
Yeah.
a news one.
I like that one.
And then whenever that's over, I'll pick up various podcasts. I listen to a couple. I listen to Craig Rochelle has his leadership podcast. I listen to that one. I also listen to their weekend messages. I listen to the debrief. I listen to a few different things like that.
Gotcha.
But we're into Spooktober,
Excited to be here.
season 4.
Scott, you're kicking us off
Somehow I got the first pick this year.
with either my favorite or least favorite. I haven't decided. You're gonna have to convince me by the end of this episode.
I don't have any convincing to do. 'Cause I don't really
Spooktober
care about Spooktober or this movie.
I'm a little bit
Cool.
confused by our audio intro because that wasn't the one I watched. I watched that movie, the
Oh,
Disney cartoon
Yeah,
with Bing Crosby.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
the
I
really old
watched.
one?
So what was that?
That's what this was. You don't remember that?
Oh no.
I thought about that cartoon so many times watching this movie.
I was watching this movie and I was just going, Ichabod.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Ichabod Crane.
Me too, dude. Seriously. Scott, you picked.
I did pick. Originally, I had Saw
I'm glad you changed
chosen.
it.
I'm not glad you changed it.
And then I'm going back to Saw next year.
I know,
didn't.
I'm
I
happy.
didn't boot it out. I
I'm
just
happy
pushed it
that
down
you
the
did
road.
that.
I realized Saw was something that a lot of people don't like.
Really?
Like, I mean, it doesn't have good ratings on anything. It's like 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like,
Yeah, but it is a 10-movie franchise. So it's
Sure.
successful.
yeah, I think there's a cult following for sure.
Next year Scott's gonna do Saw year.
Maybe.
I'm super down
I'll
for
do
that.
scary movies except for Spooktober. I'm gonna pick a not scary movie.
It'll
Oh.
be Fast X.
Yeah. love
But I
that.
realized, okay, all of my other movies this year also had in the 50s in Rotten Tomatoes, and so maybe I should just try to pick something that was rated a little bit better, maybe won an award. So
Uh-huh.
this won an Academy Award,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
so I think it's our first Spooktober pick to do that.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Alien didn't win anything, or Exorcist?
I don't
Nothing.
think so.
That's
No.
surprising that Alien
is
didn't win for
surprising.
at least special effects or something.
It's surprising that those didn't and this did.
I don't know if
What did this win for? Oh, let's get into just effects, I guess.
yeah.
Let's hear.
So this was directed by Tim Burton, Jake's favorite. It was written by Washington Irving, or it's based off of Washington Irving's story. Kevin Yeager and Andrew Kevin Walker. Released November 19th, 1999, runtime of 105 minutes. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 80%, IMDb 7.3, had a box office of $206 million on a $100 million budget, so 2.1 return on that. It did win the Academy Award for Best Set Deck, and then was nominated for 2 other ones, Best Cinematography and Best Costume Design.
And interestingly, not the only Ichabod Crane movie to come out in '99.
What was the other one?
Another Disney, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Huh.
It's pretty weird.
I also take back what I said. Last year, 3 of the 4 had won Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah, wait, we did The Shining. The Shining didn't win an Academy
yeah.
Award?
Yeah, Exorcist won won 2 and was nominated for like 8. Alien won 1. Silence of the Lambs won 5.
Oh, I forgot we did Silence.
I forgot we did Silence for Spooktober.
The Shining did not win.
Really?
It won a Saturn, but that's all we have in here.
How many did Young Frankenstein win?
I believe none.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, none.
It was nominated
It was nominated
for
though.
2 things: screenplay and mixing.
I'm
Must
not
have been an off year.
I'm not even gonna buy into
Must have
this.
been a weak
I'm not
year.
gonna buy into
Yeah.
this bit. Like Mel Brooks is a legend. Gene Wilder is a legend. Quentin Tarantino, one of our favorite directors, called it a perfect movie.
Yeah.
So like
if
you know,
if you're gonna
like-
pull that, then you have to recognize that Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Is also a
I
considered a
would-
perfect movie.
I would put that to its credit, for sure, that Quentin Tarantino likes it, but I don't get it.
well, but
But Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder are still legends.
I agree,
Yeah.
and I love other roles that
And
both
you know,
of them have
You
played.
know who else is a legend? Is Leatherface.
Have you played the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game?
You
I
know,
heard it's kind of fun.
There was one.
you know who's a bigger legend?
Ichabod.
Ichabod Crane.
Isn't it crazy to think that you making that chainsaw noise is now a year old?
That's pretty nice.
Do we still? I don't know if this is going to be the right one. I guess right.
Nailed it 1 year later.
Wow.
You still know exactly where it is.
Speaking of Quentin, last night I watched Inglorious.
Oh,
It was my first time since we first reviewed it, and I think I underscored it a little bit.
I think he did.
I watched
I
it.
gave it an 8.2 originally.
isn't Inglorious? That's
That's
still
our
our number
It's
one.
our number one.
And
Zach and I
you-
both
and you
did.
guys still think you underscored it?
Well, besides, like you guys were all 9.4 or higher.
Yeah.
Zach and I both gave it a
8.2.
10.
Yeah, I
Oh
would.
yeah.
I would probably give it closer to a 9 now.
Wow.
So
Cool.
it should be higher.
Yeah.
I
I'm known
luckily
for
it's
doing
still
that,
our
so.
number one.
Yeah.
So.
I watched it again not that long ago, and I thought I really stand by the 10. Honestly, I don't regret it at all. It's the only 10 I think I've given.
My brother-in-law was a little disappointed to hear that it was our like highest rated movie over Django.
Oh, that
He
Inglorious
likes
was better than
Django
Django.
more.
Yeah,
I
that-
stand by it. I like Django a lot.
I had Django ranked higher. I would probably
You
keep
did.
Django higher.
Yeah, you did.
I think Inglorious is the better movie, and I think Quentin says that it's the better movie.
Yeah, you gave it a perfect 10.
Mm-hmm.
And you've given out 4 10s already.
I have. I think I've given out the most 10s.
Mm-hmm. Tyler and Jake have only given out 1, and I haven't given any. My highest rating is 9.5.
What was it?
Braveheart, was it?
Dunkirk.
Yeah, that tracks.
All right, should we get
Yeah,
into
let's talk
this?
about
Jake,
Sleepy Hollow. Oh,
what-
sorry.
I was just gonna say you were a late bloomer to this, right?
Yeah, was I the only one?
I was also a late bloomer.
I had never seen it.
Oh wait, what? I was the only
You
one
were
who
the
had
only
seen
one
this
who
Yeah, I
had
movie.
had never
this.
seen this.
Okay, well, I definitely saw this movie around the time it came out. I remember watching it like on repeat on HBO. Because I don't know, I guess I had access to HBO at that age.
At 9 years old.
Apparently. I mean, or it was a couple of years after, within a couple of years,
Sure.
where it was running on HBO. So I mean, I watched it when I was very young and really loved this movie as a kid. I was probably 10 or 11 the first time I saw it. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. It's been, 20 years since I've seen this movie. Rewatching it again, it was funny to me, like the bit of nostalgia that was there. I mean, I didn't really remember any of it. I would say overall, didn't super care for the movie, but it was fun to rewatch something I loved. I knew that I loved a ton as a kid.
Yeah. Jake, what was your first impressions?
Yeah, I mean, like my experience with the Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow story is like fairly limited, honestly. You know, it's like, oh, that episode of Hey Arnold, that episode of Scooby Doo, and the Disney cartoon. And I was like,
I mean, that's a fair
Yeah.
amount, you know.
But I was
that's a
like-
fair amount of exposure.
yeah, I get it.
for,
But I was like, this is. I was watching it, and I didn't feel like I knew that much about it. And I was like, I felt like I was crazy. I was like, why did they make him a cop? Wasn't he like they took Ichabod Crane from the story and decided we're gonna make him the complete opposite
yeah,
of the story and then make a movie, which I thought was a weird choice. I don't
remember the original story. What is
So
he not-
Ichabod Crane was like a cowardly schoolmaster that
Yeah.
super believed in everything supernatural.
everything
Oh,
occultish.
interesting.
But he was the schoolmaster in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've said I've never found a Tim Burton movie I like, and I still haven't found a Tim Burton movie I like. His style, it just bugs me. Like the fact that this won for set deck makes me a little bit angry because I hate the Tim Burton aesthetic.
What about the set that wasn't good though?
Just the fact that it was the Tim Burton aesthetic, I hate it.
Like, well, it's interesting because, like, let's compare to another thing that, again, on paper you should love, but in practice,
Wes
you hate.
Anderson?
Wes Anderson.
I should love Wes Anderson on paper, but I don't know that I should love this on paper.
But they have similarly, like, very distinct, unique styles.
yes,
And so your issue isn't necessarily having a distinct style, it's this distinct style.
I think so.
Okay.
And honestly, I think when a director gets famous, I was thinking about this. I heard somebody on a podcast talking about this, and I thought it was interesting. When a director gets famous for having a very distinct style, I feel like that only works for them for so long, and then they just do more and more, and it's farther and farther down this road to the point where they're almost like parodying their own style, where it's just so extreme down something that you're too known for it, and you have to keep stepping it up to the point where it just stops working for you.
Yeah.
And I think I could probably agree with that. Like, I feel like an earlier movie might be a little better for me, but I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I think the thought made sense, and I kind of wanted to dive into it, but I don't want to watch more Wes Anderson movies to figure it
Right.
out.
Totally.
Um,
Nor do you necessarily want to watch more Tim Burton movies to figure out.
I've seen a fair amount of Tim Burton movies, actually. But yeah, I didn't like it. It was fine. I like Johnny Depp, and I enjoyed him as far as it goes. But I don't know. I didn't hate this movie the way I thought I was going to. I think I went in with lower expectations than you might have. So I think I was kind of pleasantly surprised, but I still didn't like it.
What other Tim Burton films have you seen?
Let's see. I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas. I've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
He didn't direct Nightmare.
Didn't he?
Mm-mm. He didn't.
He wrote it, and
He may have written it.
well, I'm 100% sure he wrote it.
Yeah,
It's called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
And apparently he was an animator at Disney and then wrote this poem, and then they liked it. And they're like, oh, let's make this a movie.
Okay.
Um,
He is involved.
Scott-
He didn't. direct it.
Scott's fact checking
It's
Zach right
directed
now.
by Henry Selick.
well, yeah, I think that's the most famous thing with his name attached to it still.
It could be.
I've seen Johnny Fingersnips.
Yeah.
I've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I've seen this movie now. I feel like I've seen, what are other movies he's done? I haven't seen.
Which Charlie and the Chocolate Factory did he direct?
Well, he directed
The
Charlie and
new
the Chocolate
one.
Factory, not
The-
Willy Wonka. and the
Okay,
Chocolate
the new
Factory.
you got it.
the
Have-
one with Johnny Depp.
Have you seen Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure?
No, I don't think Phoebe Herman really.
Okay.
But
Have you seen Batman?
I have. I've seen Tim Burton's Batman, and I don't care.
Have
for
you
it.
seen Beetlejuice?
I have not.
Cool, because we're doing that next.
exciting.
It's another chance.
Yeah. I feel like your best chance is Big Fish because I love Ewan McGregor. And is Danny DeVito's in it, or am I
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't care for it. And I don't know. It was a
By-
long shot for me to
by
like.
the
I think
way,
we're doing
in-
Sweeney Todd next year
We
too.
are
Oh, I have
doing
seen Sweeney Todd,
Yeah,
and I hate Sweeney Todd.
Have you seen Sweeney Todd?
I
Sam?
haven't. That's why I
Okay,
nominated
got
it. We had talked a couple episodes back about not having enough musicals.
That's true.
And so I was like, okay, this is like a critically acclaimed musical.
Uh-huh.
I'll throw it on there. I haven't seen it, so
I threw one in too.
Oh, nice.
right after yours.
Is so
what
next
did
year's
you-
going to be the year of musicals.
Because I was like, oh, Scott picked a musical.
I haven't checked.
I'm
What did
picking
you
a
pick?
musical.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Oh, nice. I want to see that one too. I haven't seen that either.
We haven't done a Baz Luhrmann movie yet, so. Getting back to this, Zach, you were a late bloomer as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I'm on record as being pro Tim Burton. I actually do like his aesthetic. I think usually it's like I like things that are spooky, even if it's like very mildly spooky. And I feel like Tim Burton does mildly spooky well, or I guess well enough to my liking.
Mhm.
Disneyland agrees.
Yeah. That all being said, Patreon hopefully will like this. Not good.
For the listeners,
You
just so
got a
you
big
know,
thumbs down.
you know what you're getting for when you pay for Patreon. Huge thumbs down.
Not good. Didn't like this movie at all. I'm being a little hard on it. I didn't think it was very good, and it's my least favorite Tim Burton movie. There were aspects of it that I had kind of some fun with. This felt maybe the least Tim Burton-y movie that I've seen.
That's what I felt.
Which
too.
I think is
Yeah.
why I maybe liked it better than I expected to, is because I feel like it is the least Tim Burton movie.
It's the biggest departure, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it just didn't really work for me, but it almost felt like he couldn't get away from himself enough for this to work. It almost felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. And I actually thought that Johnny Depp was like not good in this movie. And
Uh-huh.
he took me out of the movie often, and I didn't know what the frick he was trying to do. Like it seemed like he thought he was in a comedy, but Tim Burton didn't think he was making a comedy. It was
Yeah.
really weird. I didn't care for the movie.
Honestly, I
That's a super. I'm sorry, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say that's a super interesting point I hadn't considered, but I think you're right.
I think you're right too, but I think that was why I kind of like Johnny Depp in it. Was he made me laugh, and at least that's something positive. Like he I remember, like I don't remember what specifically, but like some silly things he did, I chuckled a couple times. I was like, okay,
I feel like that's all Tim Burton movies though. Like I feel like that was the only Tim Burton part of this movie.
No, but here's the thing. Like, like you think about Rewind to Edward Scissorhands, which we reviewed.
Uh-huh.
Edward was like, he kind of like Johnny Depp played that very straight. Like he wasn't zany or goofy or trying to be funny. He was being straight to the character. What was funny was the circumstances around him. And in this, Johnny Depp, like the circumstances around him are very stoic, and he's being the comedy. And so it is very different. I think it's a different take for Johnny. It's a different take for Tim.
I feel like it was still just Johnny's interaction with the world around him that was in those comical places. Like it wasn't any like just Johnny.
Well, I mean, but it's like maybe a serious interaction, and Johnny's reaction is comedic. You know?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I agree with you. Yeah, that like it was weird. It felt like he maybe didn't like, I don't know,
And I think
act in the lane. He didn't act in the pocket.
I think that
you know?
a lot of this is so outlandish. Like Christopher Walken is his appearance and everything about him in that scene is so outlandish that it didn't play to me like we thought we were getting into this very serious movie.
Yeah.
I felt like people around him were taking it seriously, but I didn't think that the movie was necessarily taking it seriously because there were so many things that just felt very outlandish to me.
Yeah, I didn't interpret this as a serious movie at all. Like it felt like something that was like, what if we made like a more like light slasher film?
yeah, that's just an interesting concept, a light slasher film. Like
I mean,
I-
but they exist. Like, what about Joe Keery's movie that came out a couple of years ago?
I guess so. I never saw it. I can't.
Did you see it?
What was it?
It was like
Spree.
Spree.
No.
Yeah. I mean, that was like a lighthearted slasher.
I think just it's not something that you see often enough to where I feel like if I were to see this, rather than think this is a light slasher film, I would think, what is this? Is this trying to be a slasher film? Is it not? And I think like similarly to what Tyler was saying earlier with more regarding Depp's performance is all of the circumstances in Edward Scissorhands don't make sense to real life, but all of the interactions within that movie make sense considering the context. And in this film, it never felt like Johnny made sense compared to everyone else around him and the situations that were happening. And so that was just, it was just a really weird comedic, or I'm sorry, not comedic, actor's decision on his part, or maybe it was Burton's decision to have him play it that way. But it was weird. And I can see where you guys are coming from, that maybe they wanted it to be outlandish, but for me, like, it just didn't really work. It was it would take me out of it multiple
Believe me,
times.
I can see anything about this movie not working. If you were to tell me any single element, like I didn't like this or this, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair.
Well, you know what's interesting though is that like I actually did think that the set deck was good, and I liked that. That was one of the aspects of the movie that I enjoyed, and one of the things that I think Tim Burton can do really well is kind of create an aesthetic and create, for lack of a better word, like a vibe that his movies kind of have, and I liked that part of it. I like the gothic feel, the almost like playfully gothic feel that his movies have. And so I enjoyed that aspect of the movie, and I thought the cinematography was good. I liked that. I thought overall the acting was pretty bad, and I already talked about how I didn't care for Depp, but I thought the worst was what's her name?
The main girl.
Oh, Catherine.
Yeah, and I can't think of the
The
actress's
actor's name.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's no one that has done a lot that I remember.
Christina Ricci.
Oh, Christina Ricci.
I thought she was pretty bad. I didn't think she was very good in this at all.
Yeah, getting into my takes, I think I agree with both of you and have a different end point. Like, I agree, I don't like most Tim Burton movies. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Johnny Fingersnips. I really don't like Beetlejuice. I think it's pretty bad. And so the fact that this didn't feel like typical Tim Burton actually played a lot better for me. I liked that it didn't feel like typical Tim Burton. I thought it was like, I'm not saying any of this to defend any part of the movie. I don't think it was that good. It's not something that I would like go back to on a regular basis, but I think it had some kind of like weird charm to it. Like, it was like simultaneous, like you said, it's a little confusing. Like, it's got like light moments, and then it's got like heads flying off, lots of gore. I was not
Really
expecting
gory.
all the gore.
The heads flying off was the one of the other things that was so silly to me, because it's like, oh, if I bump my head in this world, it's gonna come off. You know? It was just like one axe stroke, kind of near your head, clean off. It was just so silly.
Yeah. So like for me, like it felt like what a child would imagine this story being told from their like dad or something.
Well, but that's what this is, to be fair.
I know it's a children's story, but I'm saying this is
Like,
this
this
feels
is-
like a
Like they created that tone. Well.
yeah, like it feels like, you know, if this is what's going on in the imagination of a child as their dad's telling the story.
And to be honest, I think it's probably why I loved this movie as an 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's just weird. I think the only thing that makes me feel like maybe that's not right is how gory it was. And I don't know if as a kid I'm like thinking that way, or if I would have like I
definitely
would not
didn't-
have wanted to watch this movie as a kid. Like I would have been freaked out.
I definitely didn't remember it being this gory.
Uh-huh.
And I seriously watched it probably, 3 or 4 times, like around that age. Definitely didn't remember the gore, so that didn't stick.
Yeah.
But I loved my defense of this movie is not going to be reflected in my score. But I did love, to be honest, exactly what you're describing, the ability to capture the essence of like a children's, folktale kind of a thing. Like, I thought that was really fun. Like, it felt like that. Like,
Mhm.
I felt like I see what you mean, and I felt like I could have really liked it.
mhm.
Like, it was like if it would have been, and I don't know what specifically I would have changed, but I feel like what you're describing is something I would have liked. if maybe it would have been different. Like that I think it's a good idea, and I feel like maybe the bones of something good are there, but it just didn't. In practice, it didn't get there for me.
Yeah, I mean, I really did think the set deck was good. Like, and I do think that about, even though I don't like Tim Burton, like, there's always something visually like stunning in his movies.
And it's very uniquely him.
Yeah, like it's a Tim Burton movie by looking at it. You don't have to hear a thing.
Just a frame of the movie, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's probably Tim Burton."
You picked the most Halloween movie possible, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, this is like
the
what
pumpkin
you think of
throwing the
Yeah.
pumpkin
on Halloween.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, the headless horseman.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that being said, I think the set deck was good. I think cinematography was good. Score was whatever. I do think acting from Depp was just whatever. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was like bad as compared to maybe some of the others. I will say one of the things that I kept like, what is happening is Johnny Depp seems so old compared to this girl.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I don't remember like what that part of the actual story was.
I don't think that uncommon for an older man to go for a younger.
Very true.
Yeah, it still feels weird today.
For sure. Yeah. No, 100%.
But yeah, no, I think both of you are right. I don't think there was anything that told us that she was significantly younger, but that's how it read.
It seemed like she was in high school.
Yeah, and it also, I think, I mean, that's probably pretty accurate to the period.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Did Christopher Walken kill the ginger baby?
No.
The headless horseman?
Did he?
Yeah.
I think so.
Because
yeah,
he killed both
no,
parents.
he definitely
yeah,
killed
he
the
did.
baby. He definitely killed the child.
Yeah, for a second, I was like, "Is it gonna show
That
him
was
kill this
because
baby?"
that was my
Yeah,
biggest thought. I was like,
yeah.
there's no show that
That was like, that kind of points to like this just being tonally
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you had said, like this had a weird charm to it, and I would say most of Burton's movies, I would describe them that way, having a weird charm, and this was the least charming Burton movie I think I've ever seen.
I think there was, and this movie wasn't like a consistent weird charm.
Uh-huh.
There was like moments of weird charm throughout.
Okay.
Whereas I think the weird charm in a lot of his other movies is kind of like just consistently weird charm.
Uh-huh.
Not really charming to me personally, but I understand what people are like saying when they like it and they approach it. So I understand it was totally confusing.
I feel like there were moments of this film too where things just like happened. Like it almost kind of just felt like things happened to the character, and I'm less familiar with this story than Jake is, so I don't know if that's an issue with watching just like a folktale. But like they're just like, let's go investigate, and they walk in the forest and instantly come across the witch's weird cave, and she for some reason tells them what they need to go do, and it's kind of like, this is not interesting.
Can I tell you? I think I agree. His beef with the movie is when he goes to the tree and then immediately knows what
To start hacking
Yeah,
at it.
Well, no, he immediately started, but he's like, "Oh, he's missing his head, and that's why he's searching for his head." I was like, "What are you basing that on, Johnny?"
And then the character at the very end just like gives the position and lays out the entire plot to the Christina Ricci character.
And
Yeah, as if he's Sherlock Crane.
Yeah.
I think that's where maybe I think I saw what you meant as soon as you said it's like totally confused. Where that feels like a kid's movie to me. We do. You know, you take the mask off the monster, and he's like, "This is why I did what I did."
Yeah.
And this is what's going on. But then I wouldn't, if I had a child, I wouldn't show them this movie.
That's the thing. Is like that's why I said maybe I'm just being too critical of just a folktale. If you give me I just rated R, I think it was R.
I think it is, yeah.
Like
For all
a
the
rated R, like light slasher film with like the plot of a children's story. I just don't really know what to expect. You know?
Yeah, I feel like this
Yeah.
is written for like 12 to 16-year-old boys.
I was going to say, once again, as like an 11, 10, 11, 12-year-old, like, loved this movie.
Maybe this is a really great gateway movie
into the slasher genre. Like if I would have seen this.
Or horror.
Yeah, exactly.
This
Because
is
it is a little like Scooby-Doo-ish at a lot of
It
times.
is, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is like training wheels for horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Scooby-Doo, and then Sleepy Hollow, and then from Sleepy Hollow, then maybe you can get into like
I don't know if
The
this,
Exorcist.
I don't know if this resonant.
Maybe.
we all
I feel
right
like
The Exorcist.
maybe we
Oh
need
yeah, now
one or
today,
two.
yeah.
One or two movies in between those.
You
two.
think so?
Maybe.
I don't
You
know.
go-
The
I don't think
Exorcist
you would
would
go
take-
from
I think it follows.
That's fair.
I don't think you go from Sleepy Hollow to
Yeah, maybe it.
I was-
That's probably a good one.
Personally, I was more freaked out during it than The Exorcist.
yeah.
but, like
The Exorcist was easy for me.
I don't know if we're gonna. I feel like we probably talked about this when we reviewed The Exorcist. I don't know you go from Sleeping Hollow to Masturbate Cross.
yeah,
forgot about
well,
Yeah, like maybe flag that. I don't know if we want to
like
do
that.
that.
That's in the movie.
Yeah,
In the super famous movie.
All right.
but like I don't know that that's the that's the shot you take. But I don't know. I don't like
this is perfect for 12 to 14-year-old boys, and then when you're 18.
I guess
I'll make a decision later on whether.
yeah.
that was why I was hesitant. I don't know if we wanted to edit that out. But maybe Spooktober is not our family friendly month. Sometimes.
Hey,
Well,
our
it's-
patrons get the uncensored version.
I'll
So if
tell-
you want the uncensored version, go become a patron.
I'll tell you right now, for sure, Spooktober is definitely not our like family friendly month of the year. We're doing movies that you should definitely not show your kids. And as a 11-year-old who saw this movie, I wouldn't necessarily endorse showing it to an 11-year-old today.
Or letting
But if you are an
11-year-old
Or letting 11
If you are a 11-year-old, super cool. Go for it. If your parents can't,
For all
if your parents can't stop you,
Jake, I think you just lost your Congress seat.
yeah.
I forgot I was doing that.
So much teen library of Congress.
I feel like the teens would vote him in for that.
I know that's true. Yeah,
Well, yeah, maybe he can be on the teen Congress.
It's just that the teens can't vote,
yeah. The teens.
except for only 2 years.
You can't vote for teen Congress?
No,
Is teen Congress like the kids?
Assumed it-
I get signed
Remember we
by
talked
Yeah,
about this.
exactly.
We talked about this. It's like, you know how they have mock trial?
Yeah.
It's like the mock
Congress.
Congress. Yeah.
And the only real power I have is deciding the teen library of Congress.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be hilarious if there was a teen Congress, but teens could not even vote in for election.
We have
It's
80-year-olds
like
voting
Diane
for teen Congress.
Feinstein is in the teen Congress. R.I.P.
Yeah, rip.
Oh my gosh.
But I getting back to the movie, I had one nit to pick, and I don't know if this bothered you guys, but why is everybody British in this movie? Like everybody's vaguely British, and it super bugged me. The entire movie.
Yeah, I mean it's taking place in like post-colonial Boston.
1799. This takes place.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
1799, they
there's
probably
still a lot-
sounded that way.
We dropped. I looked this up because it was bothering me. We dropped the isolation in between. Starting and it's like there wasn't just British people here. There were so many other people that American English was a thing well before America, the United States of America, was a country, and we really dropped that accent a long time.
There's
before.
probably groups that did. I don't know. Like
Every
you can't say
single-
every single group dropped that accent.
Yeah, because at that
that
time,
wasn't the accent of
there
the
are
area.
still people coming that are directly from England.
Sure, but why was everybody British?
It was just the
Well-
people in that village.
Such a weird thing. to
I-
say.
Yeah,
I chalked it up more to Tim Burton's like, you know what? I want Uncle Vernon in the movie, and I want Dumbledore,
Yeah, and like
and I want Saruman.
I feel like all of those people,
They're
especially,
like, you want us to do it? He's like, do your.
yeah, they really could definitely do an American accent, but like they were Americans. I'm pretty sure that the priest or the whatever that guy was,
Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller.
I saw him
Yeah.
and he was in Deadwood. I think that guy's
Oh
American.
yeah, no, he's for sure American.
He's American.
Yeah,
he
it
was the
was-
principal in Ferris Bueller.
It was weird that this had so classic villain like Saruman and Senator Palpatine
Yeah.
and the principal from Ferris
And it was
Bueller
crazy that
And
they all
Dumbledore.
died.
and Uncle Vernon.
Yeah.
I was
They
not
all died.
expecting everyone to die.
Well, the headless horseman. I mean, if he's coming for you,
Uh-huh. Also, when the Harry Potter's uncle was just killed, and all of them, like the headless horseman's coming, I was like, are they just gonna kill this guy like right now on screen? And it was like, yeah, all right, cool. There we go.
That was cool. Jack Sparrow,
Yeah.
Emperor Padishah,
Who?
Christopher Walken's be the villain in Dune.
in Dune.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I do love Christopher Walken. I wish he had it.
I hope he doesn't
I
have
like
any
him.
lines in Dune as well. He just grunts.
It'd be
And
a
says,
very it'd be a very weird artistic decision on his part because the character has dialogue in the books.
Hmm.
You know what? If I were directing Christopher Walken, I wouldn't tell him no.
Yeah, I would tell him, do your thing, man.
I'd say
Be Christopher Walken.
I'd say go ahead and cook.
100%.
Do you think that in this movie it was Christopher's decision? I think we need to cut it down to the grunts.
I think we need to cut it down to 0.
Yeah, down to 0. However, I want a shh.
He gets real close to Tim and he says, Tim, I don't think that my characters should talk. And then he's like, you know what? All right.
How shocked on a scale of 0 to 10? How shocked were you guys when you saw Christopher Walken? in
I
this
wasn't
movie?
shocked at all because it was spoiled for me.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I was shocked.
Oh yeah, we talked about it last time.
You had seen it and you were still shocked.
Yeah, I forgot.
I was so shocked.
I wasn't shocked. First of all, is that Christopher Walken? And then it came up, his face came up again. I was like, oh, that's Christopher Walken.
I thought for a second it was Johnny Depp. Like when you see him from a distance, I was like, that's a weird choice. But then I saw his face closer. I was like, is that Christopher Walken?
Do you know what would have been so much
With
funnier?
vampire teeth?
Was to have Johnny Depp and then twist be that Ichabod is the head
The whole time.
That would feel very Scooby-Doo-ish.
we just got Christopher Walken in to show flashbacks of the Hessian, even though the Hessian is not the headless horseman.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
It's weird to bring in such a big actor for a nobody part.
Yeah, it was really weird.
He doesn't even have his head for most of it.
I
It's
doubt-
not Christopher Walken.
I doubt that was Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
It's
that's
not.
my point.
Yeah.
You don't know that for sure.
I know that for sure. But
Maybe
I
he
doubt-
did play that whole. He just like had to do all this choreography. Like,
To be fair, who's the actual Darth Vader? You know what I mean?
I don't remember his name. Yeah.
James
But
Earl
that's-
Jones.
But that's what I'm saying is like, who is it really? It's just who, you know.
I think James Earl Jones was supposed to be, and then later they were like,
It's a white guy.
I know in the suit, like, when they the thing off, the head off, it was supposed to be James Earl Jones, and they decided that people weren't ready for a black guy to be.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Was that George Lucas?
Wait, so was
Executive
Luke
decision?
supposed to be half black?
I don't know.
You're our resident of course, right?
I don't know much about like the original like
The
decisions around the original movies.
I have a Star Wars lore question for you that's probably only appropriate for Patreon, but I'm really sorry.
Do I need to get ready to flag this?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you. I'll ask you after when we just
Okay,
talk
we'll close the episode and leave it on for Patreon.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say real quick, kind of getting back to Sleepy Hollow in a more serious sense. I'm excited to do Sweeney Todd because one, I actually do like that movie, and I feel like that movie has the tone that I feel like this should have had, if that makes sense.
Mm.
That somehow does the gory, gross, disgusting, and like maintains like a light Tim Burton-esque tone.
Because
But
it sings.
maybe I just needed Uncle Vernon to sing in this movie.
No, there's one song in Sweeney Todd that I saw that movie. It still randomly will come into my head, and I'll just start like singing it to myself. So maybe there's something in that. It's a decent song.
I like the music
Yeah.
in Sweeney Todd.
Hopefully you will musical like the music.
Well,
I don't always.
You don't always.
I'm just saying like that's the sign of probably a good musical.
I
Probably.
didn't like probably any of
Well-
the music in Greatest Showman, and I'm really happy Scott never picked that one.
Why did you tell me that?
It's too late now.
Yeah,
think
well,
it's
obviously it's too late now.
I've already told him.
Yeah. It's been pretty open about hating on Greatest Showman.
I haven't seen
I
it.
love it.
Haven't seen it.
I've said no up to this point just because the last few seasons I was trying to get good ratings and I knew Zach didn't like it.
That's why you take fast.
And then this year was my victory lap, and so I just did something stupid.
Yeah.
Might go next year is going to be just random, ridiculous, should have seen movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like
12
12
Years
Years
a
a Slave is such a
Slave.
ridiculous pick.
That one's not ridiculous.
what a silly boy you are for picking 12 years.
It's going to be all the picks that I just want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine is probably a much more random scattering.
Yeah.
You actually have good movies. Like
I have a couple. I did take out If Beale Street Could Talk,
oh,
Good.
and I put in a movie that I think I've heard you guys talk negatively about as well, Philadelphia.
oh, I love.
I've never seen.
I've never seen
I want to
Philadelphia.
watch that movie.
Well, I have it on the docket for next year.
It's a much more famous movie than Beale Street.
I love how much Zach. I've never seen it. Beale Street Could Talk. I love how much you hate that movie.
I don't hate that movie. I think it's ridiculous that we wouldn't do Moonlight, which is what Barry Jenkins won. It's like a historically known movie now
because of the scandal.
because of the whole Oscar moment, and that movie made Barry Jenkins like a guy, and that we're just going to do his follow up that not a lot of people saw or ever talk about.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
that's fair.
That all makes sense. It just before you explained that to me, I just thought it was so funny that you were always so annoyed.
I also wasn't a fan of Moonlight.
I was looking at the docket for next year and was like, why the hell is Scott making us watch Midway? And then I realized that it's a Roland Emmerich movie.
It's Roland Emmerich, and I did it around the time that it all
Okay.
happened.
And do
Okay.
you know what? We haven't done a Jonas Brothers movie. I can get through that one.
You said the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, we haven't done a Jonas Brothers.
Also, I haven't seen Midway.
We've done
so I
Harry
don't know-
Styles. So
Yeah.
you've got to do.
I don't know how
Jonas.
bad it is. I've never seen it. Is it bad?
Well, I mean, it's a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah, but I
it
love a
stars
couple of
Nick
those.
Jonas.
Is
You
it
tell me
better?
if you think it's good.
Is it better or worse than Battleship with Rihanna?
Wait, what?
I
There was
would
a
have to
Battleship
assume
movie?
it's maybe a little bit better just because it's based on true events.
And I think that one was Michael Bay. So it's just
Yeah.
slightly
Also, I
worse
think I
than
just wanted a
Roland
war
Emmerich.
movie, and we couldn't do 1917, which is what I wanted to do, but we've seen it.
There's so many other war movies.
Yeah, Tyler picked
Like,
another war.
what's another
Tyler
really
picked Black
big-
Hawk Down for next year.
What's another big war
Have
movie?
you seen
Black Hawk Down.
Platoon?
Fury.
You've seen it? Has Jake seen Platoon?
I've seen Platoon. Yeah.
Okay, so we've all seen Platoon. American Sniper,
Tears
That's
of the
the
Mark Wahlberg one, The Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
I've never seen
American
that one.
Sniper.
But those aren't like I like the World War II one like style.
He's such a classic dad.
I think the World War II.
Obsessed with
one.
World
Like
War
I'm not a
II.
big fan of like Desert Storm era like war movies.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just my favorite like scene.
Okay.
I really like the old like European crumbled buildings like set that.
How do you feel
Like
about
where America's like the good guy.
Yeah, where they're not
He
invading.
prefers when we're the good
How do you feel
Why
about
do you not?
post-revolutionary wars, lighthearted slasher films?
I'm a big fan of post-revolutionary war
Like
light
Abraham-
slasher films.
like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
You ever Sleepy Hollow?
Yeah, I guess everything is post-revolutionary war.
Yeah, I guess Halloween. Exactly.
Jack the Ripper.
What's your favorite free Revolutionary War slasher film?
I can't think of the
Are there
Are there any?
are there flashbacks in The Mummy?
one.
Is that a slasher?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
So I don't. There are,
That's why we're
That's what we're doing next year.
Oh, that's such a good pick.
yeah.
I'm excited. I like.
It's the
Brendan
summer
Fraser.
of '99, bro.
Yeah, that's such a Scott pick. too.
I know it's
Yeah.
such a
I can't believe
sad
Jake got it.
I'm thrilled that I was able to scoop that up from you.
Yeah,
It's a good pick. You guys could do a
I'll have
trade.
to-
I'm not willing.
No, here, hold on.
This is the only. If we can't do these three movies, then we can't do Summer of '99 because I don't care about any of the other movies.
I'm just gonna pick a movie from the '60s that's really trashy, and then it'll be like Lisa Bitch.
And then Jake will be like, "Man, I really like that movie. Okay, I'll trade."
Something with like 3 lines of dialogue.
Just have to have Once Upon a Time in America.
I heard Once Upon a Time in America is really good, and I've never seen it. And I kind of
It's
wanted to
really
pick it,
long. I didn't care for
but
it.
I'm not
All
ready to
that's
go.
the
through
movie.
it.
You probably like it a lot.
I'm pretty stoked for Scott to pick it because I will like it, and I won't have to.
Is there anything else you want to say about this?
No.
I don't.
No, but I do have something that I would like to say to our audience.
Okay, to all the little.
To all little tiny little tater tots out
Okay.
there. If you guys are interested, and I guess only patrons can see, and so if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, give us a little money.
Well, and it's gonna get posted, right? A picture of it.
I assume so.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little bit. Yeah. I'll sync up with the people.
Yes,
that
it
brought our
will. It will.
It'd be really funny if we did not.
Like, hey, there's a gift you can win, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
see it.
But if you guys win the only official RP Spooktober 2023 merch, check our Instagram. We're gonna do a little giveaway, a nice cup that my sisters were kind enough to make for us. So check our Instagram and check that out.
What happens to it if no one enters?
I think all of and my sisters would be pretty sad.
Yeah.
That's probably what happens. To us.
Honestly,
Not what
I would
asked.
think that's
Wow.
pretty funny.
What happens to the cup
Who
is
gets
we
it?
put it in our podcast set as
Okay.
decoration.
Yeah.
But I would be massively bummed.
I don't think that will happen.
What we'll do, we'll throw in a blender and make some Spooktober mulch.
Mm,
Who's willing to break their
I
blender?
like that.
Who's willing to break their blender to put this glass and wood in there?
It sounds like Scott is. willing to.
All right. Well, make sure that you guys go follow us on Instagram at Rotten Potato Pod so that you can enter in that contest. And big shout out to you guys so much to Jake's sisters for making that for us.
All right, I'm gonna get our ratings kicked off. I'm gonna give this 6.7 grunts from Christopher Walken. Jake,
I'm gonna give this 5.2 heads popped off.
I'm gonna give this 6 broken blenders.
sorry.
And I'm going to give this 5.7. Christina Ricci, I don't know.
Christina Ricci's.
Spells. Christina Ricci spells.
Our comes out a 59%. Once again, Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 80%. IMDb gave it a 7.3, and it comes out to 59% on Rotten Potatoes, which makes it movie number 130 out of 149.
Does Christina Ricci cast any spells?
Yeah, she's a witch.
It's
Yeah. Also, there was one thing I forgot to call out.
I just thought she was kind of quirky.
No, she was a witch. Did you watch the movie?
I may have it on my phone by that point.
There was there was
quirky.
some solid Halloween riz in this movie where Johnny Depp said, "Let's have a little witch in me."
Yes,
Because you bewitched
you
me.
bewitched me. Yeah, it was some really solid Spooktober is.
He's rizzed up.
I don't remember that part.
You don't? Oh god, it was very cringy. It was just as cringy IRL. All right, so before we go,
I mean,
we're going to Zach's pick.
Zach, we've got your pick.
Yes.
What's pick number 2 of Spooktober?
We are going to be talking about the film It Follows.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
I should have watched it.
Is that an A24 film?
It's not, even though
it seems like it
I
would be.
googled It Follows A24. And the first thing that came up is like 10 movies that you thought were A24 movies that aren't. So
All right. Well, Jake, do you have anything final to say about Christina Ricci spells before we get out of here?
Yeah, if you wanted people to think that you're nice, I wouldn't draw those evil things around
Why?
because they look scary.
Patreon. Oh, they can't hear me.
Yeah, I think we're muted. I'm really excited to ask Scott. Actually, I'll ask while I'm muted.
no, ask
Yeah.
for the patrons.
All right, Patreon.
All right, so what's your Star Wars?
How do you
question?
feel about Disney retconning jizz music?
What?
What is
So you
jizz
have
music?
to explain that.
So the Cantina band apparently were called the Jizz Whalers,
Wait, really?
Yeah, and the
Like in the movie?
in the Star Wars canon, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Up until maybe the stuff that is now Star Wars Legend, and the style of music they played was jizz music, and Disney has retconned that to be jazz music. How do you feel about jazz? JATZ. How do you feel about the removal of jizz music from the Star Wars universe?
I am for removing all of the Legends stuff. Like I don't. Yeah.
Even the jizz.
Good on.
Jake asked a joke question and Sky responded with a serious answer. Why would George Lucas call it that?
I don't know.
I don't think George Lucas did. I do think it was probably some random person who
It was
wrote
an
Star Wars
executive.
something.
Yeah, it was an executive.
But my favorite thing about this is that me, you, and nobody else had any idea that band was called the Jizz Whalers
No.
until Disney decided to. The best move they could have made was retconning this. Now everybody knows.
attention.
Yeah, now everybody knows.
But was that the official thing? Like,
I think it was the official thing. I'm not positive, but I think it was.
because it sounds like something that was like a random author did a Star Wars Legend thing about it, and that's what.
I'm not positive, but I think it was the
You
official
think
name
a
of the
random
campaign.
author wrote about the Jizz
That was how. That was
Yeah,
how
there's so many Star Wars movies.
No, I know, and I know that's like how Chewbacca dies or something like that.
There's
But
so many different stories out there.
You think someone was like, I really want to explore these characters?
Yeah, I would have to go to like the
Yeah.
original.
The Jizz.
I think so.
I do too.
That's
I want to
it
read
was
that.
basically like the Star Wars expanded universe or Legends or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
it's all Legends.
it's like it is just straight up fake.
Like the Wild West.
There's some
Oh,
pretty.
it might as well be Wattpad.
There's
Like,
a
it's so gross out there.
a version or like a story where a bunch of people got like force blocking ferrets to fight Jedi so that they could block their connection to the force because these ferrets that they carried around would stop Jedi from being able to get in touch with the force.
Someone had told me that one of the other R2D2 droids in the beginning of A New Hope, the one that like explodes in front of that is actually a Jedi, according to like the Star Wars legend lore. That was there to like protect Luke or something like that.
That's awesome.
I don't know about that. I know it was in a different movie, one of the prequels.
The droid was a Jedi.
No. That droid. Just that droid was in a prequel.
Oh,
as a
okay.
droid. There was no
Okay.
Jedi.
I was gonna say like that's
Like,
ludicrous.
I've
to
seen
me.
the prequels. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite Star Wars prequel?
This is-
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Gonna be a hot take. Phantom Menace.
Wow.
I like Darth Maul. I watched. I was 3 years old when Phantom Menace, or 4 years old when Phantom Menace came out, and then I saw it as a little child. And Darth Maul was cool. I thought
Yeah,
Qui-Gon Jinn was
I
cool.
did too.
And I
All of
have-
that, and then I grew up.
I have so much nostalgia. I
I
can't
can't watch
not
it
do it.
again.
I just have too much nostalgia to not. But you know what? I think maybe the only movie I've ever seen in theaters with my dad is Revenge of the Sith. So I have nostalgia
Yeah.
for that as well.
I honestly like all prequels. I know they're not that good, but like I do have the like
I do too.
nostalgia and just like I love Star Wars.
I'm gonna tap
Yeah, I'm
the
giving you a
clones
little
guy.
bit of a hard time.
Huh?
I like clones.
Critically, the worst one actually.
Do you know?
How would you quantify that?
Like I believe like through the ratings.
Is it,
Like the quantified ratings
Oh.
and critics. Yeah.
is it really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Do you
Phantom
know-
Menace is so boring.
do you know what's
I
nuts?
agree.
Attack of the Clones has action every minute of the film.
But it also has the worst romance of all time.
The
Yeah,
dialogue
I
is
mean-
really bad.
Yeah.
I think that the dialogue and romance in all of them are very bad.
And Hayden Christensen is really bad.
Oh, he's
But this is where we get the
And he's
purple lightsaber.
bad in
un-
Revenge of the Sith
unveiled.
too.
he's
It's
slightly
better in
better.
Revenge.
You
I
know what
think
it is?
Attack of the Clones is garbage entertainment, and it's very entertaining.
For sure. I think all Star Wars is.
Yeah.
That's fair. Phantom Menace is so boring though. That's such
Here's
a
the thing. I
slog.
agree with Darth Maul being great though.
He's
I wish like they had Vader for 3 movies, we would have had Maul for 3 movies.
Yeah, because
totally.
There's so
Count
much.
Dooku is not cool.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
we had
of
a
cool
different
Darth
bad guy
Maul
really
stuff
each.
in the Clone Wars show, and apparently Star Wars Rebels, but I couldn't get into Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Ahsoka series though, and it's been really good.
Darth Maul in that?
He's not. He's dead at this point.
Like dead?
Yeah.
Like not brought
Or
back to
like
life?
robot dead.
No. He was robot dead, and he came back, and he had spider legs for a little bit.
Right.
And then he had regular legs for a little
But-
bit that were robot legs.
I think Ahsoka killed him. Was it Ahsoka?
No, Obi-Wan kills him.
Did Obi-Wan do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Wasn't
right.
he
Well,
in the Han Solo movie, Darth
Yeah,
Maul?
he was like a little Easter egg in the Han
Yeah.
Solo movie.
Do you guys want to know a good bit of Star Wars trivia? Well, before we sign off for patrons, is that the reason that Darth Maul has an earring is that the actor forgot to take his earring off when they were doing the makeup, and
They're
so
like, well, now it's in.
It was already in,
Yeah.
and so that's why Darth Maul has an earring in every scene he's ever in,
wow,
even in the animated movies.
that is actually a pretty good bit of trivia.
There you go. Bye, Patreon.
Bye.
I saw a very funny